Hopefully that didn't catch me.
I don't think it will. Arrows. This is cool. I like this demo. All right, so we have this video. One of the items in the CVJIT library, one of the things you can do with blobs in the CVJIT library is look at the direction the blob is pointing. So in this case, it will calculate this based on the shape of the blob. It can figure out what direction it is. So what's going on is we do RGB to Luma, and then we're doing this CVJIT threshold. We're doing adaptive thresholding, and we're looking at we're labeling the blobs just like normal. And then we're going into CVJIT blobs moments and CVJIT blobs direction. And then we draw that out, and let me just show you here. So it makes a lot more sense.
And again,
if I just turn this on.
We're using a pre-recorded video, but you could, if you had some live arrows moving around.
Right. So here I have something that looks like an arrow. It doesn't actually look like an arrow. Ignore the red part. That's actually being drawn over. Let me just show the original video. So this is the actual video. I've got this black thing on a white background, and so this is my arrow. The only thing that makes it an arrow is that one side is bigger than the other side, right? So it's this block with a stick coming out of it. That technically is enough of an arrow to be able to be tracked. So what we're doing is we're detecting what direction that's pointing. We're drawing this green arrow over top the video. So this green arrow is, red. Why am I saying green? We're drawing this red arrow in real time. We're drawing it over the original source video. And then we're also calculating what that actual angle is. So if I were to slow this, or if I were to stop this video, can I just pause it? Will it stop? All right, so right here the video, the arrow is pointing at 288 degrees. And you can have multiple arrows. So let's turn on, oops, I need to change modes here. Hold on, mode. This is the mode you want to be in if you have multiple arrows. So the great thing about this technique is some students will build boxes. You're just using cardboard. They'll like take an empty cardboard box, and they'll make knobs on the outside of the box, and they'll have these arrow shapes on the inside of the box with a light bulb in there and a camera. And so it turns into a really easy to use interface. You can have a bunch of knobs. You can have, it doesn't matter how many you add, so we'll do 5 here. And they can be different sizes. They can be rotating in different directions. And it'll spit out the current angle for all of the blobs in the scene. Very, very useful for building interfaces and building, knobby kind of interfaces for stuff. So yeah, arrows.
Gotta love
What else can we say about arrows here?
I use.
Oh, this is fancy. Yeah. Oh, this direction thing. Let's go back to the first one here. This is telling me the direction. Oh, I don't have the speed control on this. Okay, so what's happening here, you can ignore this if you want, but I built this because I had this sort of fascination with how, if you have an arrow that's moving, how can you tell what direction it's moving? Clockwise or counterclockwise? It just became kind of a fascination of mine. How do you, mathematically, how do you figure out what the direction of motion is? You can, one way to do it is you can just calculate we have the angle coming out here, so we could calculate the current angle and the previous angle and do the difference between the current and the previous angle. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? That can tell you what direction things are going. But then you have this 0 to 360 transition that becomes a real problem. Another way to do it is to calculate the determinant using sine and cosine, and how do you do it? Oh, there's this formula. And the formula gives you a positive number when it's rotating clockwise and a negative number if it's rotating counterclockwise. And this actually is a really clean way to tell whether something is rotating clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay, that's all I have on arrows. I'm going to stop.